Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's 6:26 p.m. Mountain Time, Monday, October 28th, 2019. I hope everyone's having a good day. Don't want to take up too much of your time. I'll be as brief as I can. Kind of want to use this time to share a little testimony and touch on a few other things. There's really a lot to talk about, and I really don't know where to start. I know part of my journey, and I think a lot of people will agree, that's working through that awakening process, that I think a lot of people that are choosing to ascend will agree that whenever you go to identify who you are as a person, you got to peel back a bunch of layers, man. And some of these layers, there's shit you gonna want to know. You know what I'm saying? And so you question it, you entertain it, you reflect on it, you meditate on it. And I mean actually doing these things. And really, for me, it started out as me not even really knowing what the hell was going on with some of my decision making. So I grew up with, two brothers. One was heavily incarcerated often, and my mom had a ninth grade education. My younger brother was there, and I was house to house, couch to couch from eighth grade to pretty much high school. I finished my last senior year in high school because my now wife, my high school sweetheart, and I, we got serious in a relationship. Nonetheless, I was blessed to meet people that took me into their homes, took care of me. They saw something in me that I had no idea that was in me at the time. I don't know if they knew what they saw in me. Maybe they felt bad for me. Regardless, they took care of me. I was able to see an insight of what family looked like, business, relationships, how they handle with relationships. They were wealthy families, and I thank you. And the families know I didn't get any approval on saying their names, but the families know who they are, man. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. As I graduated high school, man, I went off to college. Somehow I passed and never went to class, and man, I passed, and then I went to college. And I graduated in 2004, but those families weren't there. My wife and I, we had a semester apart when I went off to Hutchinson, Kansas, and I mentally wasn't ready, man. My body wasn't ready. And so I folded, and I left. And, I came back home, and my wife and I got an apartment and struggled with smoking a lot of weed and not being able to hold a job. And, I said, screw this. I'm not working. I'm going to play football again. And went back to Hutchinson, Kansas. And boy, was I ready. You know what I mean? I started feeling my body changing. My mind started changing. I started setting new limits for myself, and I was a standout. I never got no more letters. Like, I got tons of letters from SECs and communications with Auburn, and I shitted that away, and left from there and went up with Mesa Community College, you know what I'm saying? And nonetheless, got hurt my sophomore year at Mesa, ended up on pain pills, and nonetheless ended up signing a scholarship to Missouri Southern State and shitted that away, you know what I'm saying? And failure was constant in my life, man, early. Drugs was constant in my life. Screwed up that opportunity at Missouri Southern State behind lying to my wife and my family. Pain pills, opioids on a daily. So I ended up leaving Joplin, Missouri back to Oklahoma with the hopes of going to Langston I get up to Langston, and that process was all ghetto and shit. And I'm like, hell, finding every excuse to find a reason why I can say I'm going to throw in the towel. So I end up throwing in the towel, man. And, boy, was I lost. You know what I mean? I didn't know what was next after football. I ended up working at the local hospital in Oklahoma, and one day they called me from one end of the hospital to the other to pick up like a grown-up ass sized turd. And that was it for me there. From that point, I'm like, no. And then I ended up selling credit card machines. And mind you, I had a break between opiates from Joplin to Oklahoma. But when I started selling credit card machines, I get back on the opiates again. And from there, it led to methamphetamine. But throughout that course, especially after football ended, I cried out to God. I cried out to our higher power, our creator, asking why. I asked Jesus why. What do I do now? You know what I mean? And kind of through my life situation at home with my family, I kind of really went to God and was like, why am I dealt this hand? And I had no choice. Nonetheless, throughout these experiments with drugs, and especially throughout that course of experimenting with meth, it was really a journey that I was guided through for my higher power, man. And it's really hard to explain this because I know how society is shaped up. There's a lot of people that aren't mentally prepared or spiritually prepared to hear a lot of people's testimony nowadays. Kanye-West, for example. Just doing some research and sharing some of the research that I found on Kanye-West to get some feedback from tons of people. And I'm seeing that people are just seeing what Kanye is doing is a financial, like they're questioning his decision to want to go with God. That should never be up for debate for anybody's mouth. Just sit back, shut up, and watch. So this topic is really hard to talk about, man. Sharing a testimony is not something that I'm going to be wanting to do all the time. And you shouldn't want to tell your testimony all the time. Nonetheless, I'm sharing my testimony, and if you're on my platform, you're here to listen. I know you're not only here to listen, you're only probably here to listen for ideas, by the way, which are ideas that are from our Creator. So thank our Creator for the ideas that I've been sharing with you all. You idea vultures. I don't understand that. Do you? We have to really kind of not only question the people that you have an issue with, but we need to question ourselves, people. And there's not enough of that. And there's people and that are spiritual leaders that are some of the biggest haters in the world, and I don't understand it. And this is me speaking from my experience. I know I'm no one special. I know that I am no one special. So as I'm going through this course of drug use, failure, drug use, I'm missing out on developing these close relationships on a business level, on a networking level to better not only position humanity, but my family and my life situation. You know what I mean? Which is the appropriate mindset, in my opinion. There is a problem, especially from the town that I'm from in Oklahoma. There is a huge problem. And there's a lot of people in positions that have never experienced the issues that town has, that are making some of the decisions on what they feel like needs to be done to eradicate the problem. or not even necessarily eradicate the problem, but offer better solutions for the issue that's at hand. And so I'm a concerned citizen where my mom is residents of currently, where my brother, whenever he is released, is going to be a resident of. I'm a resident, not necessarily a resident. I'm a previous resident, wanting to offer solutions, reaching out to peers that I've gone to school with, peers that I've done business with on a legal level. Hell, if we want to bring up things that are in my past, or even on that tip, on the illegal level, people that I've crossed paths with, I am not afraid to ask for support or advice or their suggestion on certain things. And whenever I have done that, to reach out to political leaders, reach out to people that have spiritual leaders, they're not having that. I don't understand why, and they faking it. I believe that there's a lot of fakes out there, man. There is a lot of fakes. And I'm challenging you. How fake are you? How much do you really care about your kids? I think that's a fair question. I put that question to myself. I didn't give a shit about my kids when I was chasing meth. I didn't give a shit about my family when I was chasing meth and weed. But now that I'm sober, just like you, what's the problem? What y'all been doing this whole time? You say you doing the mission for daddy. What you been doing this whole time? Sitting back, stealing, listen, I'm not the one to complain about anything. And I swear to God, God, Creator, please forgive me for using that name. I'm getting a little emotional here. You got to excuse me. Calm down in there, granddaddy. Son, calm down. I kind of got to bring in humor whenever I get a little emotional. Calm down, grandson. That gets me to calm down. You better come get this little boy. Like, it's crazy how God has moved me around and touched these people. And they have no idea. They question if I'm the police. They question if this and that. It's spirit check now. God has had a look into all of your souls. I've allowed him to maneuver me into dangerous places. Back in 2011, 2010, I think it was 2011, November, there was an earthquake in the state of Oklahoma, and I was on an opiate trip, and it was more of a psychedelic thing to me because I would be spiritually enlightened whenever I would take an opioid at that time. It was weird, but for a reason I was in scripture, and I kept reading the scripture, go into the dark and share, what is in the dark, and I think it's Mark, but that's pretty sad. I can't remember that chapter, and it's probably not meant for now, but I went into leadership at this church called First Baptist West, and I sought after answers through a higher clergy member. What does that mean and would it be wrong for God for me to go in these dangerous places? And my mind was so made up, like that's what I'm called to do. I don't even remember what the gentleman was said, but and so at that point, I put myself in these harmful situations, and I got so lost in abusing and wanting to really figure out and hang out, really, just to know. And there's a lot of hurt people out there, man. There's a lot of people out there that have been in great positions in life and have lost it. You know what I mean? And to regain it, it's hard when they have that F on their record. You know what I mean? Or whenever they're brought up in impoverished situations and they saw their loved ones do what they had to do to eat. And so therefore that door or that door continues, or that train continues, however you want to label that. Nonetheless, I had the conversation. Like I said, I had my mind made up. I don't even really remember. But that was such a great church, and that's where I've stayed empowered throughout that course, was through First Baptist West. Thank you so much, First Baptist West. If there any way they hear this, but church is real, man. Religion's real. Religion's at the surface of spirituality. That's the deepest part of you. Religion sparks that curiosity to want to look into spirituality, what's inside of you. So people get shied away because where their brains at the time when they hear religion. But whenever they live out the course of their lives, and they're like, holy hot damn, you know what I mean? Back when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, whatever, that was real, what I was reading about in the Bible. And so it'll come back around. Everybody wakes up. Data shows everyone wakes up at 32 years old, which I believe that's when Jesus died. So the spirit is in you. It's dormant. And then, boom, you either accept it or you don't. A lot of people think that they're accepting that spiritual self, and they're not even really looking at what's deeper. They're not looking at the fact that that song's for you, or this message is for you, or you need to call that person, or you need to answer that person. They on the same page as you. But the best thing is, and how people are really wanting to sit back and wait and see what things happen, is whenever the door closes. I have my daddy's help. I don't need no one's help. When I reach out to you, that's daddy reaching out to you. Where's your mind and heart at? Are you ready to receive? And to sit back and vulture creative ideas because you can't create your own, that's a scary, scary thing. These are people that, and some of the ideas I feel like that I'm sharing are, and all of them are, I have no control of. This is daddy's calling. But best believe what daddy's ultimate plan is has not been revealed, people. These are networking channels that our creator has been trying to open up, but people are vulturing, and it's sad. From religious leaders to coaches. I'm really tired of hearing people say it's not about race. It's all about race. Everything boils down to a number. The person behind the number, and then the color of that person is going to be behind that number every single time. It's always going to be about race and color. And the more that we deny that fact, is the more that we're going to see this revolving door of black on black crime, police brutality. Because don't nobody want to look at facts anymore, or the truth. And then whenever they hear facts or the truth, they want to say, oh, well, that's just your opinion. There is a such thing as a collective consciousness. And your DNA is made up off of some of these collective consciousness habits and actions and things that revolve over time, people. You will not know that until you look inside of yourself. Once you look inside of yourself, how grimy you are, how much of a hater you are, how much a vulture you are, you'll move that out the way. You'll be willing to want to create powerful networks on a spiritual level. You'll understand that religion has only just been the spark of who you truly are inside. Religion must go nowhere. As a matter of fact, religion It's really simple. No matter the color you are, black, white, Mexican, Italian, Japanese, Chinese, there has been a great example within your culture. There has been a Jesus within your culture. There has been an Allah. There has been a Muhammad in your culture. That's a fact. That's the moral compass that we're all rolling on right now. That's the whole collective consciousness that we're all rolling on right now. What intensifies it are things like the nailing of the cross to Jesus. What intensifies it is segregation, assassinations. We have passed that point, people. We have passed that hatred, that inner hatred part, people. So if you are seeing results now, you will not in the future if you still hold on to that hatred perception of life. And that's a fact. These are all spiritual things. I don't know if you've been able to look in the Bible. I don't know if you've been able to apply them through self examples. I don't know if you've been able to apply them through any spiritual summoning, or I'm not even going to go there, but it's deep, people, and there is a string. There is the string theory. There is the string that we're all attached to. The vibration, the light, whatever. And depending on the source is what you're putting out right now. So what is your source? How much do you hate religion? How much have you let go of your morals? Your moral compass? No matter the decision, I don't know what's right or wrong. I know what I decide. I know where my source is. Coming up on 22, 25, and done a lot of ranting, but there's really a more to it, man. And it really starts with you, man. And it takes boss moves to really kind of to be supreme before our creator. And it really is a such thing as spirit check. And it doesn't happen enough. I'm so critical of myself. I hate failure. I've had it tasted in my mouth. I'm sick of it. The people that I've established relationships with back home, let's see what we can do to make it work. Those that I've tried, I'm sorry, it didn't work out. The door's closed. My prayers and our prayers hopefully will be for one another is good. I know me personally, I will look for good for anyone. But there's great things to come. There's a lot of great things to look out for. I've been in contact with some great people. Again, our creator has a plan. It's in motion, and I really would like to emphasize on what's important and why this is important. Our efforts on why we wake up, our sense of reasoning, our sense of purpose depends on our improvement, our growth as individuals. And hatred and bitterness is not going to do nothing for you. It's not. The sneaky plotting, and like when you die, you go somewhere. And if you're not connected to source, then what is it? And it's easy. Just respect. You know what I'm saying? And look for good for people, right? It's hard to do. And, well, obviously, I think it's fairly easy just to love and live for good for people, man. But, bro, back up off Kanye, man. Let that man grow. Stop hating. And really, like, I'm not white. I'm not Mexican. I'm going to talk from my sense of experience. Black people, quit hating on black people. Quit hating on people, period, man. Y'all making me look bad. Straight up. And stop talking about if somebody just want to do something for some profit. You damn right I want to do it for profit. So I can flip it and do it again for profit. I mean, that's what you're doing it for. Change cost. Affecting people's lives positive, it costs to do that. So if I have approached, you damn right it's about profit. I've got dreams of wanting to build a church, a monastery. I've got dreams of wanting to give back to my black community. I got dreams of wanting to help single moms. I got dreams of wanting to improve. That costs money. And so if you hear people say, oh, he just want to do it for the money, the person saying that is lying because they want to do it for the money too. You need to stop messing with them. If you ever heard somebody say, man, I think homeboy just doing it for clout or for money, you damn right. That's how you continue. It costs to do that. God's going to provide. God knows where the heart's at. It's not up for you to question that. You're not going to question Michael Jordan being in it for the money when you buying his shoes because it fits you. And if spirituality don't fit you, you're going to complain and find something wrong with it. If religion don't fit you, you're going to complain and find something wrong with it. So you just capping. And ain't nobody really listening to you anyway. And there's a lot of people out there like that. A lot. So separate yourself, people. Separate yourself. Separate yourself from the people that said they're doing it to change their community. And they think they're going to do it for free. Oh, I'm not doing it for money. You a lie. If you ain't doing it for money, then what you doing it for then? Just to keep it. Originally, you just want to help 10 people. You just want to help 10 people that whole time of your program or whatever it is you're doing. So it's about what you're going to do with that profit. I talked a little bit on just that and share some ideas, and lo and behold, people I communicate with, oh yeah, we're going to do this. Good job, man. That's crazy. We're on the same page. I was thinking the same thing. I actually just talked about that a couple weeks ago. Did you happen to listen to my podcast? Sneak haters, man. There's a bunch of sensitive men in the world. Straight up. There's a lot of fake people behind a gun or behind a group of people that ain't really to put it out there. They ain't willing to put it out there by themselves. Really, just if they got a problem with you, talk about it. Or if you gonna shine over what I don't know what it is. I really don't. But I've tried to reach out to so many people back home, man, and they ain't with it. Oh yeah, I got your support. Ring, ring, ring. What's up? You trying to do this? Boom. What's up? You trying to do? And then what I I got a confirmation earlier, that people think I'm trying to scheme them. For what? For what? I'm so proud of my humble beginnings. I am so proud from where I'm from, and I'll never change that. But I don't need nobody from where I'm from. I remember 10, 11 years ago, I was serving on the board, and this, Lord forgive me for allowing my ego to live this one time again. This is all ego effect, but I go sit down and serve on the board for parents or children of incarcerated parents in the state of Oklahoma. And, I go to meetings, and there's one big meeting that was televised on TV, and I guess they played my question and my statement, and it was just along the lines of they're really faking about some of these solutions they're putting forward, and we really need to put solutions forward. And so one of the congressman people or whatever is actually after I went to a town hall meeting is what it was. After the town hall meeting, one of the congressmen, he invites me out to eat at a restaurant there. And we sit down and, I tell him what I feel like needs to happen and this is what we could do, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, it sounds like your plans are bigger than Lawton. And that told me right there, and so, I will continue what I believe in. I will continue what Creator has mapped out for what my cause and purpose is. And I don't need you. And this is a direct shot, hoping that the right ears hear this. But you got to, you own up to some of the clout that you're talking about. And I mean, that on the level of how you put yourself before the camera and certain communities to want to produce change, but you're not really reaching out to all the channels that can give you some feedback on how to make that change. And, I don't know how to say it any nicer than stop faking it. Stop playing around. And really, this goes for any community. Like, if Baltimore's got an issue and Kansas City, Missouri's got it, network. Stop. Look for models from different cities and towns that will work and apply it. Apply complete facts, and figure out ways to make living conditions in certain communities sustainable. And that kind of goes back to just the pride that I have from where I'm from. And I don't know why I have so much pride from where I'm from, because it ain't about shit. And it was horrible for me to say that, but I don't get it. And I'm not special, man. I know a lot of people look back to where they live, no longer live anymore, and be like, that's home, because of the loyalty that you have for whatever reason. You feel that way, and just don't get it. Like, you move away to a city and you see things this is straight. Why can't it be like this back home? Man, there's a bunch of kids that if they didn't have the opportunities I had, or the families that helped me out in the situation, then they gonna be, what about if I wouldn't have had the families that helped me? What kind of situation would I be in? You know what I mean? Like, I don't see, and I'm not looking for fair, but like, if you're not using your mind, you're not really equipped to win a battle at all, and that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? But I'm doing a lot of rambling, man. I'm venting a lot, and I apologize. Originally, this was set up as a platform for me to vent. This isn't for everyone. It really takes a boss to look. I'm out.